Hi, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I am fine. I thought I would continue reading Petrarch's Sonnets today. And I have my big book of sonnets. Let's slide it out. Very old, musty book. And the reason I decided to start reading from this big book, apart from the fact that I love Petrarch, is because one of my subscribers suggested that I read the newspaper. And I don't have access to a physical newspaper, but I thought maybe this book, because it's big, would have some good paper sounds and page turning sounds. So, I hope you like these sonnets. I do. I love the smell of this book. It's old, and I believe at one point it got wet. It used to be in my father's basement, and for a while that basement used to flood. But the book still holds together and still looks great. It just smells like a basement. And it happens that I like that smell when it's combined with the smell of pulp and glue, the kind of materials used to bind books. So, I'm going to start on page 134. There's one sonnet per page in this book. Go, my warm sighs, go to that frozen breast, burst the firm ice that charity denies, and if a mortal prayer can reach the skies, let death or pity give my sorrows rest. Go, softest thoughts, be all you know expressed of that unnoticed by her lovely eyes. Though fate and cruelty against me rise, error at least and hope shall be repressed. Tell her, though fully you can never tell, that while her days calm and serenely flow, in darkness and anxiety I dwell. Love guides your flight, my thoughts securely go. Fortune may change, and all may yet be well, if the sun's aspect not deceives my woe. A sad sonnet. You may hear some light background noise. There's a window beside me, and my cat is in the window, looking at birds. On to the next sonnet. The stars, the elements, and heaven have made with blended powers, a work beyond compare. All their consenting influence, all their care, to frame one perfect creature lent their aid. When nature views her loveliness displayed, with sun-like radiance sublimely fair, nor mortal eye can the pure splendor bear. Love, sweetness, in unmeasured grace arrayed, the very air illumined by her sweet beams, breathes purest excellence, and such delight that all expression far beneath it gleams. No base desire lives in that heavenly light. Honor alone, and virtue, fancy's dreams, never saw passion rise refined by rays so bright. Now you may remember, and you may not, that Petrarch was an Italian poet, and he wrote a lot about a woman named Laura. He professes to have loved her. They were never involved, and evidence remains unclear as to whether or not he ever actually spoke to her. He loved her inasmuch as he did from afar. And all of these sonnets that I'm reading are about Laura. Let's turn the page. I hope that's a good sound. Never was Jupiter so set on thunder, nor Caesar never so resolved to shudder, but mercy like a blast would swoop to scatter the flame or tear the hand and sword asunder. Milady wept. My lord said, "Oh, sweet blunder, that I should see her, hear her sorrows flatter my soul with listening, and thrill to the matter and very marrow of my bones with wonder. To me love pointed, carved into my breast that bright and silver tear, whose mysteries cut with a diamond at love's behest, where with his subtle and incessant keys he still returns, as to a treasure chest, my own true tears, my dark sighs to release." My neighbor is outside. We have some stray cats that we feed. And I know that we shouldn't feed them. But if it helps, they are all fixed and vaccinated, because we called and had that done. Anyway, she comes outside and she does the typical cat call. I hope you didn't hear that while I was trying to read a deep, intense sonnet about being in love with someone who you've seen but never met. All right. Moving past that, I saw angelic jest in earthly spheres, and heavenly beauty paralleled to none, which now I joy and grieve to think upon, since now all else dream, shadow, smoke appears, and twin lights have I seen obscured by tears, lights which so oft gave envy to the sun. Mount well might move, and stream forget to run. Heard they the sounds that smote upon these ears, love, wisdom, valor, tenderness, and grief, weeping together, made more sweet consent than any wanted on wide earth to sound, harmony holding heaven so intent, that not on any branch moved any leaf. By such enchantment air and wind were bound. The two sonnets I just read were written together, and they were apparently about Petrarch seeing Laura weep. That ever-honored, yet too bitter day, her image hath so graven in my breast, that only memory can return it dressed in living charms no genius could portray. Her air such graceful sadness did display, her plaintive, soft laments my ear so blessed, I asked if mortal or heavenly guest did thus the threatening clouds in smiles array. Her locks were gold, her cheeks were breathing snow, her brows with ebon arched, bright stars her eyes, wherein love nestled, thence his dart to aim, her teeth were pearls, the rose's softest glow dwelt on that mouth, whence woke to speech grief's sighs. Her tears were crystal, and her breath was a flame. Another poem about Laura weeping. All of these poems are about one incident. And in this most recent one, he says she is more beautiful for having wept, more beautiful in her weeping. It's a little bit creepy. Where'er I rest, or turn my weary eyes, to ease the longings which allure them still, love pictures my bright lady at his will, that ever my desire may verdant rise. Deep pity she with graceful grief applies, warm feelings ever gentle bosoms fill, while captivated equally my fond ears thrill with her sweet accents and seraphic sighs. Love and fair truth were both allied to tell the charms I saw were in the world alone, that 'neath the stars their like was never known, nor ever word so dear and tender fell on listening ear, nor tears so pure and bright from such fine eyes e'er sparkled in the light. And that poem was on the same subject. In what divine ideal, what lofty sphere is found the pattern from which nature made that face so fair, wherein she might parade proof of her heavenly power do mortals hear? Were ringlets ever loosed of gold more sheer to wayward breeze by nymph in pool or glade? Was every virtue in one soul displayed ere now? And how the noblest costs me dear. Who knows her not can never realize how beauty may the heart of man beguile, and who looks not upon my Laura's eyes knows not how love can kill, and otherwise may heal us. Let him hear how soft she sighs, and gently speaks. Oh, let him see her smile. I mispronounced one word. I said otherwise, but what is written is the word otherwhile. You forgive me, I hope, as that is not a common word. What's interesting about this book is that the sonnets are presented both in English, translated by a number of different people, and in their original Italian. I'm going to end with this one. The translator, whose name is Bishop, has titled this, Laura Transcends Humanity. Love and I stood agape. We marveled how no wonders ever mazed the human sight, like the speaking lips and laughing eyes alight of our one lady, who has no equal now. Under the fair serene of her calm brow, my ruling, constant stars are shining bright, to fire the kindred heart and love aright him who would take love's last, severest vow. It is a miracle when in the grass like a flower she sits, or when her candid breast is crushed against a bush without her care. How sweet it is in spring to see her pass alone, by her lovely thoughts caressed, weaving a circlet for her golden hair. I love these sonnets, but sometimes Petrarch's fawning creeps me out a little bit. Thank you very much for watching, for listening, and I will see you next time.